All right, imagine this, okay? A warrior king leading his cavalry across West Africa, forging a kingdom that still thrives today. That's the story we're diving into.
Ndewura Jakpa.
The founder of the Gonja Kingdom and what's now Ghana. And, our listener wanted to learn more about him.
Right.
So we're going deep, using a mix of historical accounts and those captivating oral traditions.
This is fascinating.
Really is. Setting the stage, 16th century.
Yeah.
The Songhai Empire, powerful as it was, it's crumbling. Ambitious leaders everywhere vying for power, and that's where an Ndewura Jakpa comes in.
A Mandé warrior.
With a destiny, it seems.
It's incredible how much mystery still surrounds his origins. We believe he was from Mali, or perhaps the Sahel region.
But that title, Ndewura, it means owner of the land.
Right.
Like, come on, that's a title hinting at big things, right?
Absolutely. It speaks to his ambition.
Imagine consulting diviners, receiving blessings
Right.
before setting off on this epic journey. It sets the tone for a story that blends like history and legend, you know? So how did he do it?
Well, Jakpa was a brilliant military strategist.
Okay.
He had this powerful cavalry at his command,
Oh, wow.
and he used it to conquer vast territories, securing key locations like Belay.
Yeah.
That became his first stronghold. Then you have Daboya, crucial because of its salt production.
Salt, yeah. Essential back then.
Right.
Valuable stuff.
And of course, Salaga, which blossomed into this major hub for trade.
So he wasn't just conquering.
No.
He was building like the infrastructure for a real kingdom.
Exactly. He was thinking long term.
That's pretty impressive. But what about the people who were already living in these areas, like the Guan people, for example? How did he go about uniting such diverse groups under his rule?
It was a complex process.
I bet.
Some Guan communities welcomed him.
Oh, really?
They saw the advantages, the benefits of being part of a larger, more powerful entity.
Yeah, makes sense. Strength in numbers.
But others resisted. They fought fiercely to maintain their independence and their own ways of life. So you have these layers of conflict, negotiation, cultural exchange.
All happening at once. Wow.
It wasn't a simple conquest at all.
I can imagine finding yourself right in the middle of that kind of power shift.
Yeah.
Must have been pretty overwhelming. But Jakpa, he knew he needed more than just military might, right?
Huh?
To build a lasting kingdom. Couldn't just conquer.
Yeah, well-
He had to govern.
Right.
So how do you approach that?
Well, he was incredibly savvy. He implemented a decentralized system, divided the kingdom into provinces,
Okay.
each ruled by a trusted descendant, or one of his top generals.
Oh, smart.
A delegation. It allowed him to effectively manage this vast, diverse territory.
That's thinking ahead. Delegate and conquer, right? But he wasn't just a military and political genius. He understood the importance of culture and religion, bringing Islam into the mix.
It wasn't just about conversion, though. Islam became deeply interwoven with Gonja culture. It had a profound impact.
In what ways?
Well, for example, Islamic legal principles, they influenced Gonja customary law.
So that would shape how disputes were settled.
Exactly. And how justice was carried out.
Yeah.
You even see this blending of traditions in their architecture. Mosques in Ganja territory, they often incorporated traditional Ganja building styles,
Oh, interesting.
while also reflecting Islamic architectural influences. You can see it in the domes and minarets.
It's like a fusion of the two.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was laying the groundwork for a society that's not just powerful, but also like culturally and religiously distinct.
Right.
I mean, Jakpa's celebrated as a hero, a unifier, by the Danja people. But that's not the whole story, is it?
No, it's not. For some of the groups he conquered, he was seen as a ruthless invader. Their oral histories paint a very different picture.
Oh, I bet.
One of loss, forced assimilation,
Yeah.
and the suppression of their own traditions.
That's heavy. So how do we reconcile these conflicting narratives? I mean, can we admire Jakpa's achievements while acknowledging the cost of his conquests?
That's the challenge, isn't it? History is rarely simple or straightforward. We need to be willing to hold these multiple truths, recognize the complexities, understand that even the most celebrated figures, well, they have a darker side.
It really makes you think about whose stories get told, you know, and whose voices get heard when we talk about history.
It's a crucial point. If we only focus on the victors, we miss a huge part of the story.
Yeah.
We need those diverse voices and perspectives to get a truly complete understanding of the past.
Absolutely. And speaking of the past connecting to the present, Jakpa's legacy, I mean, it isn't just in the history books, right? His impact is still felt today, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. The Jakpa royal family is still very much a part of Gonja traditional governance. The Ndewura, their paramount chief, claims direct lineage to Ndewura Jakpa himself.
Wow, that's a direct link back to the founder of the kingdom.
It is.
That's incredible. Tell me more about the Ndewura and their role. How did they help maintain unity in the kingdom after Jakpa's death?
The Ndewura became this symbol of unity,
Okay.
a figurehead who could rise above the inevitable power struggles.
Yeah, there's always going to be those.
The rivalries between those different provinces
Right.
that Jakpa had established.
So they had real power.
Yes, to mediate disputes, maintain order, and ensure that those Gonja traditions continued.
Which helped prevent the kingdom from falling apart.
Exactly, it was crucial.
So they were like carrying on Jakpa's vision, making sure his legacy lived on, not just in name, but in how the kingdom functioned.
I think that's a great way to put it.
That's fascinating. Well, what about the cultural side of things? I know we touched on Islam earlier, but I'd love to know more about how it shaped Gonja culture in the long run.
It really is remarkable how deeply Islam became ingrained in their identity.
Yeah.
And remember, Jakpa didn't just introduce Islam.
Right?
He strategically positioned the Gonja Kingdom within existing trade networks, which really amplified that cultural exchange happening.
Oh, right. Salaga was a major trading hub. What was flowing through the kingdom back then?
Right, you had salt from Ndewura.
Of course.
That was a hot commodity, essential.
For food preservation. Super valuable.
You also had kola nuts, gold, textiles,
Wow.
and sadly, enslaved people. The Gonja Kingdom became this incredible crossroads for goods, for people, all moving across West Africa.
So you can picture this vibrant society emerging, right? Influenced by all these different cultures, religions, and economic systems.
Yeah, it was a dynamic time.
It's like Jakpa set the stage,
Mm-hmm.
and things just took off from there.
And that process of cultural exchange
Yeah.
and blending,
Mm-hmm.
it continued for centuries.
It's amazing.
Even today. You can see those influences
Yeah.
of Islam, Mandé traditions, indigenous Guan practices,
Ah.
all woven together in Gonja culture.
Wow.
It's a testament to their adaptability and resilience.
Okay, so we've covered like a lot of ground here. Jakpa's origins, his conquests, his governing style, his lasting legacy. But before we go any further, I want to kind of circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the importance of seeking out different perspectives.
Right.
If someone wants to understand the Gonja Kingdom, beyond just those official histories, where should they look?
Well, I think one of the most valuable resources are those oral histories,
Okay.
passed down through generations of Gonja people.
I can see that.
These stories, songs, proverbs,
Right.
they offer a unique window into their worldview, their values, and their understanding of the past. It's like each story is a piece of the puzzle, offering a glimpse into a different aspect of Gonja history and culture. And when you put all those pieces together, you get this richer, more nuanced picture.
So it's not enough to just read the history books. You got to go deeper, listen to the voices that aren't always recorded, in those official accounts.
Exactly. And it's not just about the Gonja perspective either.
Right.
To really understand the impact of Jakpa and the kingdom he built, we need to, consider those experiences of other groups.
Yeah.
Those who were conquered, those who traded with them, those who existed alongside them. Each group has its own story to tell.
It's a reminder that history, it's multifaceted. It's about more than just battles and dates.
Absolutely.
It's about the lives of real people and the ways that their experiences intersect, collide.
Precisely. And those individual stories, they can help us understand those broader historical trends and patterns in a much more meaningful way.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about Jakpa's military and political achievements, his impact on Gonja culture and religion. But what about Jakpa, the man? What can we learn about his personality, his character?
It's always tricky, to get a clear picture of someone from so long ago, especially when so much of what we know comes from oral tradition. But there are some fascinating stories and legends that give us clues.
Okay, spill the tea. What kind of guy was he?
Well, he's often described as a charismatic leader.
Okay.
Someone who could inspire incredible loyalty, demand respect without even trying.
Interesting.
And of course, he was a brilliant strategist and a fearless warrior, willing to risk his own life on the battlefield alongside his men.
Still commanding his army.
Yeah, it's a testament to his incredible willpower, and his unwavering commitment to his vision. I mean, for leaders like Jakpa, death on the battlefield, it wasn't seen as a failure. It was a glorious end, a way to solidify their legacy and inspire future generations.
Almost like he was consciously shaping his own legend, knowing that his actions would be remembered, retold for centuries.
It's certainly possible. Leaders throughout history have understood that power of storytelling, how their actions can be used to create that lasting legacy.
Speaking of legacy, we've talked about how Jakpa's impact, it's still felt today in Gonja traditional governance with the Ndewura. But how else does his legacy manifest in modern-day Ghana?
Well, aside from the Ndewura, there are numerous festivals and ceremonies held throughout Gonja territory.
Oh, really?
That honor Jakpa and celebrate his contributions to their culture.
What are those festivals like?
They're vibrant, joyous occasions filled with drumming, dancing, storytelling.
Oh, wow.
Even reenactments of his conquests.
That's pretty cool. So it's not just about remembering the past.
Sure.
It's about actively connecting with it, keeping those traditions alive, celebrating their heritage.
Exactly. These festivals are a powerful expression of cultural pride, a testament to the resilience of the Gonja people. Even after centuries of change, of upheaval, they've managed to maintain this strong connection to their past and honor the legacy of their founder.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground with Ndewura Jakpa. We've talked about his rise to power, his complex legacy, and the ways his story is still relevant today. But before we wrap things up, I have to ask, what are the big takeaways here? What can we learn from Jakpa's story about leadership, ambition, the complexities of history?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think there are several valuable lessons we can glean from Jakpa's life and legacy. First, it's crucial to remember that even the most successful leaders, they're flawed individuals.
Right, nobody's perfect.
We should be wary of hero worship and recognize that historical figures, like all humans, are complex, multifaceted.
So no one is all good or all bad.
Right.
It's more about understanding the nuances and the context of their actions.
Right. And second, Jakpa's story emphasizes the importance of seeking out diverse perspectives. History is rarely black and white. We need to consider those multiple viewpoints to get that more complete, nuanced understanding of the past.
It's like that saying, there are two sides to every story.
Yeah.
But in this case, there might be even more sides, right?
Absolutely.
Depending on who you ask and whose perspective you consider.
Absolutely. And finally, I think Jakpa's enduring legacy reminds us that history is a living, breathing thing. It continues to shape our world today. The decisions made by leaders centuries ago can have ripple effects that extend across generations.
Wow.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
It is. It makes you realize that we're all part of this grand narrative, this ongoing story that's constantly unfolding. What we do today will have an impact on the future. Just like the actions of those who came before us continue to shape our present.
Yeah, it does. It really puts things in perspective. Like we're not just these isolated individuals making choices in a vacuum.
We're all connected to this larger web of cause and effect that stretches back, through time.
That's a powerful way to think about it, and I think it speaks to why studying history is so important. It's not just about learning about the past.
Right.
It's about understanding the present and shaping a better future.
As we've been talking about Jakpa, I keep coming back to this idea of him as a unifier.
Right.
It's a complicated legacy.
Right.
Because on the one hand, he brought together all these diverse groups under the Gonja banner, but on the other hand, that unity came at a cost for some. Right. Especially those who resisted assimilation. It makes you wonder how that idea of unification played out, in the long term. Yeah,
that's a fascinating question. It wasn't just about political control. It was about cultural blending, religious shifts, and the stories that got told about the past. And it's intriguing to see how this all played out after Jakpa's reign.
So did the Gonja Kingdom maintain that decentralized system of governance that Jakpa put in place?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the division into provinces with rulers descended from Jakpa or his generals, that remained a core part of Gonja administration. But over time, those lines could get blurred. Think about it. You have these ambitious leaders within those provinces who might challenge that central authority, vying for more power.
Power dynamics.
Exactly. You have this strong, charismatic figure like Jakpa who unites everyone under his rule.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, can that unity survive?
Right.
Once he's gone, how do you maintain that stability?
Yeah.
Prevent the kingdom from fracturing.
And that's where the role of the Ndewura becomes even more critical, right? And remember, the Ndewura, the paramount chief of the Gonja people, they claim that direct lineage to Jakpa. They become this symbol of unity, a figurehead who could kind of transcend those rivalries, those power struggles between the various provinces.
Right, a unifying figure.
So in a way, they inherited Jakpa's mantle as the unifier. They became this living embodiment of the kingdom's shared history and identity.
I think that's a really good way to put it.
That's pretty cool. And their role, it wasn't just symbolic.
No.
They had real power, right?
Yes, they did.
To mediate disputes, maintain order, ensure the continuation of Gonja traditions, which helped prevent the kingdom from falling apart.
Right.
That's amazing. It really speaks to that long-lasting impact of Jakpa's vision, even if the kingdom didn't always remain perfectly unified.
It's true. There were definitely challenges.
But what about the cultural side of things? We talked about the introduction of Islam. How did that influence the development of Gonja culture over time?
Islam, it became deeply intertwined with Gonja identity. It wasn't just a matter of religious conversion.
Right.
It influenced everything from their legal systems and social customs to their art and architecture.
Oh wow! Can you give me some specific examples?
Sure. Think about their legal system, Islamic legal principles, like those relating to inheritance and family law. They began to be incorporated into Gonja customary law. This led to changes in how disputes were settled and how justice was administered. Or consider their architecture. Mosques in Gonja territory, they often blended traditional Gonja building styles with Islamic architectural elements, like domes and minarets. It's a beautiful fusion of cultural influences.
So it wasn't just a one-way street. It was more of a back and forth with Islam influencing Gonja culture.
Right.
And Gonja culture in turn shaping how Islam was practiced within the kingdom.
Exactly. Yeah. A dynamic exchange. And remember, Jakpa didn't just introduce Islam. He strategically positioned the Gonja Kingdom within those existing trade networks. This amplified the cultural exchange that was happening throughout the region.
Right. We talked about Salaga becoming a major trading hub. What kinds of goods were flowing through the kingdom, and how did that contribute to this cultural melting pot?
Salaga, it was bustling with activity. Salt from Daboya was a major commodity, as were cola nuts, gold, textiles, and unfortunately enslaved people as well. The Gonja Kingdom, it became this incredible crossroads for goods and people moving across West Africa, which brought in a wave of new ideas and traditions.
It's like Jakpa's conquest created this crucible where different cultures, religions, economic systems, they were all interacting and blending together.
And that process of cultural exchange and fusion, it continued for centuries. Even today, you can see those influences of Islam, Mandé traditions, indigenous Guan practices, all woven together in Gonja culture. It's truly remarkable, and a testament to the adaptability and resilience of the Gonja people.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored Jakpa's origins, his conquests, his governing style, his cultural impact, his lasting legacy. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you said earlier about the importance of seeking out diverse perspectives.
Right.
If someone wanted to learn more about the Gonja Kingdom, beyond those official histories and the dominant narratives, where would you suggest they look?
That's a great question. I think one of the most valuable sources of information are those oral histories.
Yeah.
Passed down through generations of Gonja people. These stories, songs, proverbs, They offer a unique window into their worldview, their values, their understanding of the past. They provide a perspective that you often won't find in written histories.
It's like each story is a thread woven into that larger tapestry
Yeah,
of Gonja history, right?
it is. It is.
And by listening to those diverse voices, we can gain a richer, more nuanced understanding of their culture and identity.
Exactly, and it's not just about the Gonja perspective either. It's important to consider those perspectives of other groups
Right.
who interacted with the Gonja Kingdom.
Yeah.
Those who were conquered, those who traded with them, those who lived on the periphery of their power.
It's a reminder that history is never a monolithic narrative.
It's not.
It's a mosaic of experiences, perspectives, and interpretations. And by seeking out those different pieces, we can start to assemble a more complete picture of the past.
And that, I think, is the beauty of historical inquiry. It's a never-ending process of discovery where new evidence emerges, old assumptions are challenged, and our understanding of the past is constantly evolving.
So to our listener, we encourage you to continue exploring the story of Ndewura Jakpa and the Gonja Kingdom. Delve into those oral histories, consult those scholarly works, and let your curiosity be your guide. Remember, history is not just a collection of facts and dates. It's a tapestry woven from countless threads, each waiting to be discovered.
And as you unravel those threads, you'll find that the story of Ndewura Jakpa is far more complex, intriguing, and relevant than you might have imagined.
It's a story of ambition, conquest, cultural exchange, and a legacy that continues to shape Ghana today. And on that note, we'll leave you to continue your own deep dive into the fascinating world of the Gonja Kingdom. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking out those hidden threads of history.